Greetings, hello to everyone out there in YouTube land. My name is Belle. I wanted to talk to you about a little bit of philosophy today, or a little bit of my thoughts on, some of my preconceptions about enlightenment and how I'm changing my mind about it. Like how I feel like I was kind of like punishing myself emotionally, trying to live up to someone else's idea of enlightenment, or really a concept of enlightenment I had that wasn't working for me, that was actually just kind of undermining my sense of how to deal with my emotions. So the interesting thing is, so I think a lot of trouble comes from, for me, a lot of trouble comes from having a reaction to a certain emotion. So emotions in and of themselves, for the most part, can be felt. Like, I'm just talking about like in your daily life. You know, obviously if someone has a huge amount of trauma, they need to get really professional help. But in terms of like little annoyances and little sadnesses and feelings that come up during the day, or like frustration, that's something that we need to be able to work on maturely as adults in our daily life. So the idea was, I thought to be enlightened, you had to have this perfect, pristine, peaceful attitude towards life. Like, never have your feathers ruffled, like never be irritable, never be frustrated about something. And I still think that's the main idea of enlightenment, is to have such a profound state of inner peace that you don't get thrown off track very easily whatsoever. But what I'm realizing for me personally, like maybe I'm on an enlightenment path, maybe I'm not. I'm on my own path of my actual life, but I have all these different emotions that I can access, and I don't have to be overwhelmed by the emotions, and I don't have to react to my own emotions. I can just let the emotion kind of simmer, or kind of have this flame that kind of burns, just kind of this like energy, this burning flame of energy of that emotion. So I can, I'm getting to the point where as an adult I can like learn how to sit with these emotions, and it's hard sometimes. But it's like, just take a step back, that's what I do. So I think it's okay to have emotions. The only thing that's not okay is to ever direct emotions at other people. If I'm frustrated or irritable, it's my responsibility to like journal about that, or take a walk, or take a step back and just spend some time breathing, and just kind of like really being with myself and being with that emotion. And it's never okay to direct my feelings at other people. When I'm feeling upset, or when I'm feeling a negative emotion, the best thing I can do, if I want to talk to someone else, like my husband Joey, about it, is I can articulate exactly what I'm feeling and what I'm experiencing with that emotion, without directing it at him, but just saying like, look, like, this is what I'm experiencing right now. So anyway, that's been really life-changing for me, and it's come up the past few days, and it's just been really great to realize that I have so much experience with my emotions, and I'm learning some things as I go. The other thing that's kind of interesting is that I realized that I do have like this kind of a bottomless pit of rage, and a bottomless pit of like tragedy or sadness. What I'm going to do is like channel that into different stories. Like, I want to write these really fantastical stories, and make them into books with all these like cool characters, like this ultimate like really cool fantasy world, like my own version of Lord of the Rings, but of course for me it would be totally different. Just kind of that epic fantasy where you can create so much. Because I think like stories and an aspect of the theatrical is really important to human beings, because we need to express things in all different kinds of ways. So just to recap on the emotional part, It's interesting when you look at the tarot, the suit of emotions is cups, which is like water, and you do feel emotions sometimes as these waves coming over you. So I think that's very appropriate. And then I was thinking about one of the worst things I can do is associate specific thoughts with emotions, because that just kind of builds the emotions in a worse way. So that reminds me of the Suit of Swords, because the final card, at least the Ten of Swords, is very negative. It's someone stabbed in the back with 10 swords. To me, that represents the fact that there's something about our mind that can never ultimately be the only, it can't be the only tool that we use. So that's what that represents to me. If you overthink and go down that path, it's going to end in some type of disaster or some type of negative thing. And that's why we have to balance the different suits. So it's really cool. Anyway, so these are my thoughts on enlightenment and what it is and what it isn't for me. And then also like dealing with emotions and things like that. Hopefully I will have some new videos coming up soon. Thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you later.